Hey guys, this is Sonny from Rippin' Lips. I'm going to show you how to set up a swim jig so that you get one of these. Okay, let's get started. This is the swim jig I use. I use the Hack Attack swim jig, and I like the 3/8 ounce, and I'll tell you why. When I throw a 3/8 ounce, it falls at the right speed that this tail gets the most action without it moving too quick and moving too slow. If you use, like, say, a full ounce Hack Attack jig, it goes down so fast that this tail doesn't even look like it's moving. It just one straight. This is good for reaction bites, and if you're doing really deep fishing to get it down there. Another one that I like is the half ounce. I'll use the half ounce. If there's maybe some thick material on top, like thick weeds or whatever, and I want it to get on top and then kind of sink through and swim, sometimes the braid gets caught on the edge and it won't let it fall down fast enough. But every day, most of the days, that I use the 3/8 ounce. That's my go-to. I'll show you how I set them up. It doesn't really matter what color the body is, but I like to keep it simple. I like the oranges and the browns during like summer and fall. Sometimes I'll use like the green and brown, like that. But just keep it simple. It's not the body that's getting bit. It's usually the trailer, because I've thrown every color and it gets bit the same. So this is what I do first. Is the weed guard has paint on them on these particular ones. So what I do is I bend it down, and I bend it up, I bend it left, I'll bend it right, and then the paint just comes right off. You can take your nail and drag your nail down it too, and it will just flick it off after you've broken it up. And I catch more fish on these than anything. I'll swim these, I'll let them fall, I'll use them like a jig. So, another thing you can do too is you can take your edge of your scissors and just kind of flick that edge there on the line tie, and once you cut a little groove on the edge there, the paint will just come right off. I think they just dip these, so. But these have a really heavy wire hook, and they don't flex. And on these type of swim jigs, I'll use 50-pound braid, because I really want to get that hook set. I mean, this is something you can remember is when you're using jigs or whatever, if you're using something with a thick wire hook where it actually has a really thick tip here, something that doesn't flex, it doesn't bend, you want to use heavier line. You want to get that hook really in there. With thick wire hooks, it's hard to get them in and get them deep. Now if you're using a thin wire swim jig, one where, like the KVD Tour swim jig, that has a fine wire, and you can actually flex that. You don't want to use 50 on that. When you set the hook, you can bend those or even snap them. I've seen them snap. What you want to do is use, like, I don't know, 20 to 30, and don't set your drag all the way tight. When I use these, I use a heavy action rod, 7/6 flipping stick, and I use a high speed reel, like a 7/3 to 1 or a 7/0 to 1, and I lock the drags down. I lock them down all the way until they just don't slip no more. Alright, back to this. What I do with these, with the weed guard, I'll trim them down so that they're just a little bit over the tip of the hook. So I'll go like that, right there. So that's just right there. And then I'll probably take a couple out of the bottom, maybe a couple out of the top, make that a little softer. And then for the skirt, I'll make sure it's all nice and even, and I'll cut just a little bit below the hook. I'll leave just like an eighth. So it looks like that. And another thing I'll do is, let me just fix this right here. Make sure make sure the skirt's nice. Flip it upside down. I'll make sure the skirt's even inside this elastic that's around. Make sure it's not all bunched up in one area. I'll let them hang down. Now the secondary skirt on the head part, I'll take those and I'll tip them, and I won't cut them straight across. I'll cut at an angle. I'll cut from here, and then I'll cut at that angle, and I'll cut a teeny bit off that top just to break them up like that. Now when the skirt flutters, it's going to be a little uneven. It's going to be a little bit on the sides. It's just going to be all broken up, and it looks so nice when it's swimming. So, and for the trailers that I use, I like the Zoom. Some people like the Berkeley. I use the Berkeley. Actually, I got some Zoom ones here. I got the Fat Albert 3-inch June Bug. That's pretty good. I got the Berkeley Powerbait Milky Shad. I used to use these ones a lot, but these grubs just break apart so easy. I can get so many fish on these. I mean, like this one broke, but that was after tons of fish. I mean, you can see how it's all shredded. And like this is another Berkeley Milky Shad salt pepper. I got these ones are pretty good. These ones are pretty strong. Zoom. These are the Ozark Smoke. It's like a purple, clear, black. Some more Chartreuse Pearl. These are my favorite. Bass kill these. I got the Green Pumpkin Tad Tails 4-inch. I got the 3-inch Watermelon Red Zoom. And I got this is another good one, White Pearl 3-inch. Green Pumpkin. These ones are good too. Some more chartreuse. Some more chartreuse. I got bags of these. I'll show you how I put them on. Just grab one. There it is. And make sure you got some glue. So what I'll do is I'll tip this skirt down, or tip it upside down, and I'll make sure that the skirt is all clear from that worm keeper there. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that the hook of that the grub tail, is pointing down and away. So if it was on there right now, it'd go like this and the hook's down. That's when you're going to get your most action. And on these, another reason why I like these Zoom Fat Alberts is it has a line directly down it. I don't know if you can see that. And it's a good way to keep this thing in line so it's not all twisted up on here. So I'll put this right there in the middle. Try to feed it up as straight as possible. And I put it pretty far up there. And when I come out, I want to come out in that line that's in the body. And then what I do first is I'll push it all the way onto the worm keeper, just to make sure that, see how it lines up nice and flat. You want that hook pointing down on the worm, and then I'll bring it back off. Bring it back off, just like that. Get my glue ready, and I like to put 2 dabs. I put one on each side of that worm keeper, right at the top part of it. Put one there, and I'll put one right on the bottom hook of that worm keeper. And I'll just slide it back over where it was, and I'll twist it a little bit just to move that glue around. And then I'll push it up, and just make sure that thing's straight before it dries. There it is. And that's my swim jig. Day in and day out, I catch more fish on this than anything. I don't know what it is. It might be this color of the trailer, because I don't get hit with any other color than this. Not even the white. Nothing. All year round. This chartreuse, I just kill it with this. I think I caught 18 today, and it was just on this in a few hours. And I don't even think the body color doesn't really matter. But for my confidence level, I like to use orange and brown near like at the end of summer. But like during the summer, I'll use like this dark brown with the green. What else? I'll use, like, in the summertime, I'll use this light brown with the red flake in it. But basically, I just keep it simple. I don't even think about the color that much. But these trailers, I do. The chartreuse pearl. I use 50-pound braid on this one because of the fat wire. But like I said, if you use anything with skinny wire that flexes, if you can grab that head and you can pull on that hook and it flexes really, really easy, you want to use a lighter line, maybe like 14-pound fluorocarbon, 17-pound. Don't lock that drag down. You'll just snap them. These ones, you won't break these. Or the dirty jigs. Those have big, thick hooks on them. Actually, I think I have one right here. I'll show you. I got some right here that I set up. These ones have some beefy hooks. And on this one, I made one with a white trailer and then one with a chartreuse trailer. I already trimmed these up, made them nice so they're ready. These are the 1/2 ounce chartreuse. Those jigs are nice. I think I might switch all my jigs over to these, but they don't make a 3/8 ounce. They only make a 3/4 and a 1/2 ounce, and that's fine. I mean, I'll still use it. But it makes some nice skirts, nice little head on there, nice clear. I think that's fluorocarbon. Nice clear weed guard. These hooks are just massive. Look at how much thicker it is than the Hack Attack. It's bigger. It's just thicker. It's sharper. But these ones are still sharp. I mean, these things are wicked strong. This one, I can barely flex that one. That one might be a good candidate for 65-pound, especially in the cold. If you fish in the cold, 50 degrees or less, the fish's mouth will get real hard, and you want to get that hook in. You want to set that hook really hard. You want to get that thing in his lip, and if you get him in the top part of his mouth where the bone is, you really, really want to set the hook hard. You want to get that thing in there. Sometimes you won't get it in all the way. You'll hook him, thinking that you have him, and then he'll get off. And that's usually the reason. You just don't get it in there far enough, or it just wiggles itself loose. But those are my swim jigs. That's the basic idea right there. And I'll swim these. I'll swim them straight, but most of the time I throw it out, I let it fall, and it will sit like this, and then I'll just twitch it, and I'll just keep popping it. Or I'll lift it up, let it go, let it on slack line. But sometimes when they're really active, like closer to the night or in the morning or even in the day, most of the time they'll slam this thing when it's just coming trucking across. They'll just bang it. But that's the swim jig. Thanks.